Hello again, and thank you very much for joining me on this little ride. It's a Sunday morning, it's not raining, the sun comes out a little bit later on. It's a little bit cloudy at the moment, but we're heading through Dent again, and we're going to take a little turning in Dent itself. We're going to turn off to the right here, and that's going to take us to the railway station at Dent, up over the coal road, down to Garsdale Railway station, and that is on the Settle to Carlisle Railway. We've done the ride in the opposite direction last October, and this was suggested to me by one of my subscribers, Frank. Lovely little ride it is too, but we're going to go in the opposite direction today. So yes, we're riding very carefully over these cobbles, although they are dry, so it's not so bad, but they're very bumpy, as you can tell. And we're going to head off out of Dent itself now. Little red telephone box there again. Very necessary in these remote places. And when I started off on this ride, I thought it was quite warm, but I did put my winter gloves on, and also put my yellow waterproof jacket on over the top of that. So my not over the top of the gloves, but over the top of my riding jacket, to keep a little bit warmer. And am I glad I did, because it turned very cold as we were riding. Bearing in mind we're quite a bit further north than I live, and we actually climb up quite high. We get up to about 1,600 feet. You have to do your own conversion to meters there. And yeah, so I had originally intended, well, I thought about riding over the other road which Frank suggested, and we do actually come up to that junction. But when I got to it, I thought, no, I'm getting too cold. I desperately need a warm up, and my decaffeinated coffee, which I had in a flask with me in my little tail pack, and a cheese roll which I'd made. And I always go prepared. And yes, I got to that junction. I thought, no, it did warn of icy conditions, and although it wasn't icy, I don't think it was icy up over there. You can see the puddles are still unfrozen. It was very cold, and I was getting a bit chilled. So I knew that at the Dent Railway station there was a little waiting room, and I also knew that at Garsdale Railway station there were toilets, which I thought that's going to be very handy. There aren't any at Dent, unfortunately, but so I knew I had to ride on up over the coal road to have a bit of a warm up at Garsdale, which we do. And another telephone box on that. Cool. Let's sell those to Australians. They'd lap them up, wouldn't they? Pay a fortune for them, apparently. Now this is the little road which would take me up over the other direction. But we decided not to go up there. We're carrying on now towards Cowgill, and we'll stop at Cowgill and have a look at the church there, and then ride on to Dent Railway station, and up over the coal road, as I said, to Garsdale Railway station. And in a further, that'll be the end of our ride at Garsdale Railway station, because this is quite a long ride. We'll do it in two parts. The second part of the ride will be from Garsdale Railway station to see Garsdale Head Viaduct, which is well worth waiting for if you're thinking of saying, no, I don't really like this. Believe me, it's a lovely viaduct if you like railway viaducts, and I do. And then from there we ride along the more major road to the Howgills, which is a lovely range of hills near Sidba. So there's all that to look forward to in part 2, but this one we're riding along this lovely little lane, and no traffic, thankfully. Lovely little Dentdale with the River Dee which runs along. As you can see, it's nice and bright. It's a little bit wet underfoot, of course, but the Royal Enfield Hunter doesn't mind a little bit of wet, and nor do I. As long as it's not icy, I'm happy. I prefer dry roads, but there we go. We are in a damp little island. I was actually riding, well, out on the roads for about 5 hours here with all the stops I did to take photographs, to do a bit of filming, and have a bit of a break. And so I was very impressed with the fact that I didn't get particularly fatigued by riding in terms of the comfort of the machine, but I did get a little bit exhausted towards the end of the ride because it became very cold. I became very cold on the final part of the journey, and the wind got up, and you can actually probably hear some of the blustering of the wind already, but it became very strong in the latter part of the ride, and I find that quite fatiguing. And I had in the past tried the touring Royal Enfield windscreen on my Meteor, but that just seemed to cause a lot of buffeting. You'd need an extra little piece on the top, I think, of the touring screen to reduce that buffeting. And I'm going to have to do something about the wind noise on the camera itself. I believe there's a little foam thing for the GoPro available for the GoPro camera, a foam sort of surround which goes around the camera itself, and I might be able to get that to fit around the Picasso camera that I use. But it's acceptable, I think, at the moment. I've muted it down a bit so it's not too intrusive, and I'm talking over it, of course, which helps mask it off too. Actually, I've just played that little bit back, and it isn't so bad, is it? So we'll carry on as we are, perhaps, for a bit. I believe that the hunters will soon become available for the Canadians. So I know there are a few people over in Canada that have been watching these things. So very soon, come your spring, you'll be able to try one of these lovely hunters for yourselves. And believe me, they are lovely. Yeah, so actually riding the hunter for that length of time, in terms of the position of the foot pegs and the seat is very comfortable, the riding position is very comfortable, no fatigue at all in those terms. It's just that buffeting by the wind, and hopefully that we won't have these strong winds all year long. Just watching this road now, I can see how mucky it really was. I was a bit concerned at times, when you get round a bend and it's strewn with mud, and having done a little bit of a slippy slidey bit on one of the previous rides, I thought, well, I don't really want to be doing that again. But I did notice on this ride that I did come across the lapwings, and they flew up in front of me. That was wonderful. I haven't seen lapwings for about a year, I suppose it must have been. I was out on a cycle ride along our canal, and we got out as far as was a friend, and we got out beyond Carnforth on the cycleway along by the canal, and there was a whole field of lapwing, and I have not seen that in many years, because they're quite rare nowadays, the lapwing. Beautiful bird. They're sometimes called flapwing. The way they fly up, it's wonderful. Anyway, that by the by, we're on a different ride today, so and lovely this is too. And I have to say that that settled to Carlisle Railway, that's an absolute gem. In this whole part of the north of England, the Dales, once you get into the Dales as we have, the Yorkshire Dales, it's just magical. I love it out here. Now we're just crossing over the little River Dee at this point. Now I'm going to turn off round to the right, and this is the more major road into Dent Village, which is off to our left, and we're going to go off to the right towards Cowgill, And the railway station, as you can see, the railway station is a long way from Dent itself. You can see the river there over on the right hand side. It's flowing very strongly because we've had so much rain. And we're going to pull in here, and this is the Church of St John the Evangelist at Cowgill. Just going to have a little wander up and have a look at the porch. What an old church I would think this was. And there's our lovely Red Hunter Spitfire. And we're ready to go. Right, off towards the railway station. Now this is quite a climb. The railway station itself is 1,150 feet. And I did notice when we get to the railway station that it says that if there's a replacement bus service, the bus won't actually come up to the railway station. It can't make it up the hill, and you have to have a taxi to take you down to the main road, and that's where you'll pick up the bus. So this is off to the left here, and there's another warning a bit further up about the conditions during overwinter on this unclassified road, and it has got a number, which is rather nice. I'd like to have a little number. There it is, there's the warning. Now we're climbing up all the way now, and it is quite a climb, but the Hunter can do it. This route is actually a favourite for cyclists, and I could not do. I'll be pushing all the way, but you see them riding up here. They must have jolly strong legs, and knees in good condition at the moment, of course. But it's knee knocking out job this is. So yes, in a few years' time they'll be going for surgery on their knees, I expect. Now I've just come up to the railway station now, which is over on our right hand side. I'll drop in there and have a little walk around the railway station. Station. Sign for Carlisle. railway station. Doves National Park. Waiting room. Open. Oh, it's open. Right, I think we go back and get our something to drink, eat and drink here. Yes, I've had something to eat and drink, and I've crossed the railway line on the little crossing across the rails, and just have a little look across the other side. And spectacular views across from up here. The next train was expected at 11:30. That was the train from Settle to Carlisle, because I was chatting to some people at Garsdale Railway Station. Whoa, listen to that wind. And that's where you stay if you want to have a bit of a holiday. You can stay in that old railway station building. And very nice too. We're now heading off out, and we'll pass over the railway, which goes over on the left hand side now. And it goes through a few tunnels on its way to Garsdale, and then on to Garsdale Head Viaduct, which we'll see in part 2. So I'll let you enjoy the ride up over here and have a look at the views as we get to the summit and head on down. When I got down to Garsdale Railway Station, I went to put my disc lock on the rear brake, and I burnt my hand on the brake disc. It was so hot. Oh, glorious sunshine, look at that. Yes, we're still climbing, and the wind noise is getting even worse. But very soon we'll be dropping back down towards Garsdale. I think that was a lapwing. I think. Let's flew up. And there we are. There's the wonderful view. Oh wow! Just watching this again, it's even more spectacular looking at it now because I'm not having to concentrate. I can just enjoy the view. Wonderful. And this is where the rear brake and the front brake got quite hot. And that's Garsdale Village down there. And we're just going to turn off into the railway station, which is over on our right hand side. Right, we're just going to run up to the railway station and park, and I'll put my disc lock on and pop in, and I'm going to have a bit of a warm up because I'm absolutely perishing cold after that ride. So thank you very much for watching this part 1, and hope to see you for part 2 if you've enjoyed this one. Right, see you again soon I hope. Bye for now.